Welcome back to Yakko Capital, where we look at BSV every time, all the time. Let's go. All right, getting started with BSV USD. Looking at the weekly, we have MACD in this area, and it looks good. It looks really good if we look at this area, and we look at this area. The MACDs are very different. It's not a divergence because this is a lower low than this one, but it's still good news to have that, right? It's still very good news to have that. And you can see here the slope has changed. This one's a higher slope and it's above 0. So the slope is turning upwards on the weekly, okay? That's good news. It's been up for a while now, since October. We peaked up here back in August and then we dropped in again. So hopefully this will help. There might be a drop here, but as you can see right now, we're hanging above the EMA, okay, the 130 EMA. And so looking at the daily, here's the MACD that I drew, and this is from the weekly. So this is the bottom when it came in. Look how heavy that is, right here, from the big drop from $490. It came down, it's over here. And now that it's just going sideways, the EMA is hanging out and it's going sideways, which is good news. And the MACD has gone above 0, which I think is really good news. Also including that is we have the slope of the EMA, and what we talked about here, like this going sideways. This is what it's showing here. So now we're above 0, just barely hanging on, but it is good news nevertheless. Continuing on, draw some support and resistance just to see where we are and what we can do. And we can put this right there. Another one right there. And we've been in this channel since the end of May 19th, 2021. Basically half a year. And we've bounced off 3 times here. Probably 4. And we've bounced off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're coming up on our 6th one. With the slope going positive, it looks like it's good news, okay? We just need some momentum and some good news on the court. We'll take a look at coin.dance and look at the hash rate. So the hash rate was up yesterday and now it's back down. So F2 pool was mining, and I guess they decided not to mine anymore, and the hash rate has dropped. It's back down to what it was. It should be good for the current miners that are mining, so they don't take a lot of beating with losses. And that's what it's at. So we'll see what happens. It's going really slow. There's not much to say. Let's take a look at BSV BTC. That started to turn up. But again, look how many times it turned up here, turned up here, turned up here, here. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean shit. Okay? We are probably gonna go along this trend line. So if the EMA continues to go, let's say it just starts flattening out sideways and just chills out, we might be looking at bouncing here, touching it, hugging it until we move above. Okay? And I'm not talking about the dates here. I'm just drawing it out as it is. Date can be, it can be much shorter, right? It can be sideways and then bounce here in December. So who knows? But it is good, and the MACD is also good. It's showing us good signs. So as it came down from the top, even here, you see how this MACD here, and this was very clear compared to the divergence here. Look at that versus that divergence. We can see it here clearly, right? It came all the way down, and this is like going upwards now. It's good news. And the slope is heading upwards because the slope of this is chilling out. So it's probably going to take a while just to clear out. BTC might hit 70, 80,000. And if BTC hits 70, 80,000 and BSV doesn't move, this is, believe it or not, going to come back down here. If BSV stays at 172, 173. Okay? Just the way it is. Like I talked in the other video, be careful with BSV BTC. It might drop lower, it might not. No one knows. but at the moment it's looking good. It's looking decent. It's at 0.0029, and the lower it goes, the harder it is to get to zero, right? Like if it drops down to here and it starts dropping, the harder it is to get to zero because there's such small numbers, it doesn't even phase it. Like even if BTC skyrockets to 100,000 and BSV stays here, it's not going to go that much lower because these are such small numbers. The increments, the percentage doesn't mean, like, it doesn't change much. So it's fine. It's different if it was $1 or something, like a 1-to-1 or something, or 0.5, then the drop would be much more significant, right? But being down in here in thousands place, nah, it's not going to be. So we'll see what happens. And BTC USD right now, it looks like it's going to make an all-time high. It's just doing a little bounce and then go back up. So even if it does go up, you're not looking at a big amount. It's right here. If it goes to 85,000, it's only 40%, which is nothing, right? 40% won't have a big impact. And that's fine. We'll see what happens there. Ethereum's made an all-time, that's going to keep going. And the total market cap excluding BTC is going up. So that's good news. That means everything else besides BTC is going up. It's not being reliant on BTC. And we'll also see what's happening with the court case, right? It's on the 5th day. Craig might go on the stand today, or he may not. I hope he doesn't go on the stand today, because if he does, then he'll be under oath over the weekend, probably. I'm not too sure about that, but I hope he goes on Monday so he can be, because he likes to message a lot on Slack. So I don't want him to say anything that could hinder his defense. Following the court case, I've been thinking about how Craig is going to prove that he is Satoshi, especially when people are saying that he doesn't have the tool of trust, or he doesn't have access to the keys. And one idea that came to my head is, what if he signed the same keys that he did for Gavin Anderson? Okay. And clearly, if he signed for Gavin Anderson, he has those keys in private or whatever, right? So he can use that and prove to him that he has the original blocks, which will set precedent to Craig being Satoshi. Then when he goes after miners or anybody else in the US, there will be precedent and he will win the court cases very quickly. Okay? And I think another thing will happen. I think if Craig is Satoshi in court, then all the miners in the USA and under the USA jurisdiction will have to follow the court order. And what that will do to BTC is it'll take out the US out of BTC, which is a big, big deal, especially after when China banned BTC mining and all that. So I think it's a good thing that it's happening in this federal Supreme Court. If Craig gets it, then, or when Craig gets it, then miners will be forced to either append the ledger so that Craig gets his coins, and that means that they would own 51% of the mining for BTC. That means the whole BTC will change. And if they don't own 51% of the BTC hash rate, then US miners will give Craig that order, follow the order of the court, and then there will be a split where American miners that are mining BTC will split because they have 49 or less than 49% of the hash rate, and the rest of the world will continue mining on BTC. But that will drive the BTC hash rate across the world very low because the US miners have split off BTC because they don't own 51% of the hash rate. So either way, BTC is fucked when Craig proves that he is Satoshi. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends, and I'll catch you on the next one.